All right, I think maybe we can get the show on the road now. If I can get a thumbs up or a happy emoji or a whatever emoji, just let me know that you can hear me and we'll get straight to this thing. We are a tight little crew today. We only have Farouk, if I pronounced that correctly, in StreamYard. And what do we got? We got a few other people here, two there. Great. Wait, so good luck, or not good luck. You're the lucky one today, Farouk, because it's only you whose name I can see, and it's only you who I can interact with. So it will almost be like a private session for you and me. For you, other people out there, I can only see that you exist, but I cannot see your name. So this will be fun. All right, what do we got? Can you guys hear me? So over here, you can hear me. Link, perfect, you can hear me. And StreamYard Farouk, can you hear me? Could you just give me a, oh, there, great. That is all I wanted to hear. Now let's do this thing. Hope you're excited. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite sessions of the types of training that I do. So what we're going to do today is we're going to discover the 3 arenas of mental strength. And the reason why we're going to do that is because you have goals. Simple as that. And you want to get to your goals. And whatever the question is, being weak is not the answer. I think we can agree on that. On the other hand, being mentally strong is the only way to achieve your goals, at least if you have big goals. And I do think that the people on here today have big goals. That's usually why you show up. So I'm going to be very curious, and I want to hear what you got later on. But I want to show you the 3 arenas of mental strength, and I want to show you why they are essential. Hey, Maciek, welcome. And you'll get to test how strong you are in each one of them. This is one of the things that people are excited about the most. Same here, because you get to really understand how strong you are, and you'll see kind of like where am I strong, where am I weak, and where do I not put my effort, or realize that, you know what, I'm at such a high level that mental strength probably shouldn't be a focus for me now. I might have to focus on something else. And the reason why we do this is because I want you from today and forward, and hopefully for the rest of your life, become unbreakable in the pursuit of your goals, because I know you have big stuff to achieve, right? I'm also going to show you why being outside of the comfort zone is not the same thing as building mental strength. We're being told that all the time, right? Just gotta get out of your comfort zone, gotta get uncomfortable. And we're going to see now that if it was that simple, then everybody would be super strong, right? Because we are uncomfortable all the time. It's just part of life. But there is a component that's missing. So we're going to have a look at that. Hopefully, if we have some times, we'll also have a look at why I stopped optimizing my life, and why it might be the case for you to do that if you want to be consistent in your personal growth. Because most of us, we're not Olympic athletes. If you are, you can afford optimizing your life. But if you're not, then chances are you have so many other things in your life going on that optimizing would actually stop you in your pursuit of consistency and results, right? So if you want to kill procrastination and you want to become a person who just gets shit done, even when you're not motivated, you want to develop the ability to stay calm under pressure, you want to control those negative thoughts and anxiety, and you want to perform at the absolute highest level. Or I should say, you want to be physically strong, you want to be able to work harder and longer than anyone around you, and you don't want to end up burnout. This is the key component. We'll talk a lot about burnout and being, just hitting the wall or whatever you want to call it. And you also want to build confidence. You want to be the person who, when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it, right? And you're never going to have to say again, I'll start again on Monday, or I'll start again January 1st. Then I would say this training is probably for you. But first, I want to ask you a few more questions. Hey there, Tommy, and welcome. Look at that. We're building a little crew in the end, right? But first, I want to ask you a few questions. And the reason why I ask you a few questions is because I want to make sure that you're not wasting your time. But after I ask these questions, you have my full permission to say, this is irrelevant for me, I'm out of here. Or I want you to say, this is relevant to me, this is something I need in my life, and then I want you to commit to this training, right? And just be here with me, turn everything off, except your camera, because that makes everything more fun for me. So first question for you guys, Farouk, Maciek, and Tommy. What the heck will mental strength help you accomplish? Like, what is it? What will this unlock? Like, just give me a quick little comment here in the chat, and let me know what the heck this is important to you. And the reason why I want you to do this is because we're such a small crew today. We are 1, 2, 3 in here, which will interact with me. So the more information you give me, the more relevant I can make this for you. Right? I'm not going to be here, having like a TED talk. Right? That's not what we're here for. We're going to workshop. We're going to work together. We're going to do fun stuff. And Faroukum says he has health and fitness goals. Awesome. And Maciek, hope I'm not destroying that name as well. I think at least I can pronounce Tommy. Maciek says, I want to give more value to others on my own. I like that. That's very cool. It's more value-based. Very cool. And Tommy, I'll give you a few seconds to pop it in there as well. All right. Now, before you make the decision if this is relevant to you or not, I'm going to give you a few statements that I've seen in the community, and I want to see if this relates to you. Here's the first one. I look disciplined, but I feel like a fraud inside. Or I know that I'm capable of so much more, but I'm kind of stuck watching life pass me by. Or maybe you feel like you struggle to get up early in the morning because when the alarm bells rings, you just don't really know why. Why shouldn't I just snooze for another hour and come back later? Or maybe you are really driven to win, but you stall on doing the things that will move the needle, the things that you should be doing. That's really important, but it just doesn't happen. One more year has freaking passed, and you still haven't, written that book or started going to the gym or taken the next step on your fitness goal, right? And Maciek, I would also know what that means for you. Like, give more value to others. Can you be more specific? Like, what is the role and what type of value do you want to offer? And maybe some of you feel that you're capable of so much more, but oh, sorry about that. I really didn't want to. And I would say this is the most common one that I see all the time, and that's why I put it here at the end, is that you don't need more motivation. You don't need more David Goggins books. You don't need more TED Talks. You don't need more like hurrah and cheering on. But maybe you need a bit of structure, Maybe you need that support to get you going. Maybe. To a T. Nice. And I would like to put it like this. Did any of these relate to you guys? Did you feel like some of these were like, yeah, okay, I can see myself in these, or I can relate to them? You can just build teams and create effective teams by mentoring. Yes, exactly, Machi. That's a really good one. Build teams and create effective teams. Yeah, mental strength is that. Honestly, that what you're saying there is the reason why I ended up here. I started out as I built a few military teams and stuff like that, and I took that, and then I realized there's something missing, and this is it. So this training will be very interesting for you, and you'll know that at the end. You'll see some really good stuff. Okay, so here's the thing, right? If any of this relates to you and it feels like, oh, you know what, this is a little bit like me, then I like to call it that we are on the struggle bus, right? And I'm going to present to you a new ride, right? So here's how I like to see it. Like, if you're feeling a little bit like this, you're on the struggle bus in some sense, right? But we're going to talk about how to make a new offer, something that I call the strength bus, right? And as you can see on my image, I have cookies and endless determination on what I call, maybe you can see it in the background, the strength bus, right? So today we're going to look at your situation, and we're going to compare it to what the optimal version of your life would be. Right? Yeah, but okay, most of these apply to me. Also, I suffer from imposter syndrome. I get it. We all more or less suffer from that. And I think you'll, after this, kind of see what you need to do to move on, hopefully, right? And you will start moving from the struggle bus, or you will start renovating your struggle bus to get on the strength bus. That's what I want you to do, right? That's the metaphor we're going to work on. It's not the best metaphor, I get it, but I like it, right? Okay, many of you guys have tried, and please give your hands up if you have. Habitify, Streaks, all these apps. They work for a few weeks, and then we stop doing it. Right? Or you probably read all the David Goggins books, and you got excited for a while. So good, right? So fun, so exciting. You've seen the YouTube clips of David Goggins doing a lot of crazy stuff, and you've done the mindset courses, you've listened to the podcast with Jocko Willink and Huberman, and you are optimizing your life, stuff like that. Anyone? Hand up. Let's see what we got. Okay, I got a few one over here. That's fun. Tommy, yeah, nice. Maybe you're even doing cold plunges. Hands up who you're doing cold plunges here. Back, yeah, yes, and then back to old habits. It's a classic. So Maciek, a little bit of cold plunges, maybe just warm plunges, just a little bit, right? And I think it's great. Shout, yeah, okay, got it, yeah. And I think it's great, right? I've done all of that too, and there's nothing wrong with it. But a cold plunge without the things we're going to talk about today, it's just cold. So I'm going to draw from some experience I have from the military. This is just after a Arctic warfare exercise where we actually cut a hole in the ice. It's below 20 here. We cut a hole in the ice. We jump in, and then the idea is to kind of warm yourself up again. We don't just jump into water because it's cold, right? That's not the thing. And we're not looking for some magical physical health benefits, even though there might be some, right? Or there are some. That's not what we're going for. So that's what we're going to talk about, the difference between just being uncomfortable and developing mental strength. And hopefully this training we're going to do now today, it's going to give you the same thing, the same experience as Robin had, right? She had done all these things, all the same thing that we have done. And this training was the opportunity for her to kind of, it clicked, right? She's telling me this training linked all the decades of reading and doing, and it just like, now I get it, right? I'm hoping that will be your experience as well. So what I'm going to teach you today, or what I'm going to show you rather, and what you're going to teach yourself, to be honest, has worked and it continues to work. And it doesn't really matter what your goal is. Like if you're Julia and you've spent months and years playing an elite sport, but you can't just get your win, and then you shift a few things and you suddenly get your win, right? Or if you're like Marusa, which is absolute crazy pants. She managed to get a B2 French level in just 2 months of work, even though she has a lot of what's it called, focus and procrastination things she struggled with. She was able to develop that focus and just get it done in 2 months. Ridiculous achievement. It's crazy. Or you're in a situation like maybe Maciej can relate to this. You have some tough decisions in your life. Here's Rickard. He had to fire 28 employees. And the reason why it was 28 is because all the managers before him never took that bold step. So the pile of people just increased until it became this huge thing. It's not something fun to do, but sometimes we need to make those tough decisions. Right? And when you stay to the end, I'll show you how to get this, and this is a fun one. I'll show you how to get the Unbreakable Mind Bootcamp for free. Like, really. It's really free. Or as I like to call it, a VIP ticket on the strength bus. And then we could just blow the struggle bus up in the air, burn it down, right? So we leave that up behind us and we get something new, right? That's what I want to show you. But, oh yeah, also this is great. One person will get 1 hour of coaching with me. If you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. But I would only give that to someone who is interactive, who's hanging out, who's sharing. So right now, Maciej, you're on top because I can see you have your screen on. Oh, Tommy as well, doing great, because camera makes it more fun for me. And if it's more fun to me, I want to give something back. So simple as that. Interact, show your camera, have fun, and you can hang out with me for an hour. This is not a sales call. This is a coaching call. Important to know. Okay. But you can't buy shit during this call. Like, you can't. There's nothing to buy. So relax and just enjoy this, learn as much, and don't be nervous about some type of sneaky offer or something. At the end, I will present to you the Unbreakable Mind Bootcamp. Other than that, doesn't matter. No worries, Farouk. You do whatever you want. I just want to let you know, if you got the camera on, you're highly likely to win coaching. Boom. Are we ready to do this? You want to do this? I would say this is perfect. I would say this is your turning point. If you think, you know what, this random dude on the internet who calls himself a mental strength coach, he can go whoop, F himself, then I totally support that, you know. But if you feel like, you know what, maybe this crazy person has something, maybe a little nugget that can move me forward, then commit and let's do it, right? Here we go. Farouk, Maciej, Tommy, and the other people who know, I do not know. We're in for it. It's happening. Okay, let's do this. Here's the thing. When I left the army, I did 14 years of active service. I've done a bunch of things more after that, but when I left after 14 years of service, I met my now fiancée, Diana. She told me, dude, you got to teach this stuff. Yes, she actually said dude. It's weird, but she calls me dude sometimes, right? She said, you got to teach this. You've done what 99% wouldn't even consider trying. Right? And you did it without burning out. Okay, cool, right? And I'm like, yes, I have climbed some of the highest mountains on the planet. I did work as a bomb disposal operator, and as you can see, I still have my arms and my legs intact, so I can't be absolute dog crap at it. I have run some really long races, 100 miles plus, and I did some 12 days alone on the mountain type of running, right? Okay, so I've done some stuff like that. I also finished college in half the time compared to my colleagues, right? A 3-year program in 1.5 time, 1.5 years, right? So I just told her, dude, anyone can do it. It's really not that difficult. But in that same moment, I kind of laughed to myself and I realized something. I have failed more, actually more than 4 military selections. Like, we're talking weeks of being out in the woods and being, forced through some really horrible stuff and to get kicked out, right? That type of stuff. I failed that over and over again. I almost got kicked out of bomb disposal training, which is 4 years of like little tiny holes you need to pass, otherwise you get kicked out and you get sent back to your old unit. It took me 37 years to find my dream partner. I sank my boat in the Bahamas. I almost died 4+ times, of which one we will talk about today. And I've spent 10 years of saving on building a non-profitable business, right? And I did this while being afraid of heights and hating running. Right? So I thought to myself, okay, maybe it isn't so easy, maybe it's been a few things along the road, which has been bumps. And especially looking back, realizing that, what, all the people next to me, they're not here anymore. Or most people, I should say, they're not here. They fell off along the road, in some sense. So I became kind of curious, right? With this one little question. Why, after so many failures and attempts, did I still keep going? And why did my much fitter and well-prepared competitors stop? This was the weird thing, right? I have never been the athletic person. I've never been the person who people are like, that dude is gonna win. Like, nope. I've been someone very different. You see, I'm not, some Goggins or Jocko Willink. I don't have all these cool fancy titles or some type of Navy SEAL badge, or I just don't have that. I grew up with a single parent who hates sports. Just like, nope, don't want to do it. And I didn't have some extreme childhood trauma that made me tough. Everybody has that nowadays. They have this hero's journey. Like, oh, my life sucked, and then I came back and I conquered the world. Like, no. I just had a freaking painfully average upbringing. If you exclude my BMI, because I was definitely not average when it comes to fatness. I looked something like this. So, so I started going through the experience one by one, right? And the first thing that I did discover was that you can go really far with a well-trained body, right? Here's me doing some of those VO2 max tests at one of the biggest labs in Sweden. And then you transition into doing hard things in the field. Here's obviously us digging out our car from somewhere in West Africa, where it's obviously muddy, as you can see, right? So you can get really far by just being physically strong. And here's where I want to kind of show you what I learned, the concept, because everybody knows being physically strong is good. But here's the conclusions I drew from that, which now is like, oh, now I get it. Like, now all of this kind of makes sense. And that's what I want to share. I'm going to actually draw a few things for you. If you are interested in watching me draw, it'll be like a painting class. Maybe that will be the future. If this company doesn't work out, I could just revert to, or I could just continue painting instead. Just see. Okay, are you guys still with me? Farouk, Maciek, and Tommy. Tommy, I like Tommy because you look like you're already in Halloween mode. I can only see like a small part or something there. I'm just kidding. You're all good. Don't worry about it. Just kidding. Okay. Here's the thing. This is what's so crazy, right? Let's say you do something hard. What happens when you do something hard? Well, you get stronger, right? So what happens when you get stronger by doing something hard? Well, you realize if I do hard things, I get stronger. So what do? Well, oh, that's bad drawing. Well, you do more, right? So what happens then? Well, you do even more. So you get even stronger and you do more. So your ability increases just by doing more, right? Because you get the reps in, you grow stronger. It's like going to the gym, right? You lift heavy shit, you get stronger, and then you get excited about lifting heavier shit, so you do that all the time. So what happens when you do that over and over again? What happens when years pass and maybe this is your approach to life? You just work more hours, you work longer hours, you work harder, you become more efficient. What eventually tend to happen? What would you guys say? Farouq, inner motivation. Yeah, we're gonna have a inner motivation goes like a river through this training. But what do you guys think? What happens when I continue, being stronger, working harder, getting stronger? What actually happens up here? Can I just continue doing that forever, or what do you guys think? Yeah. Okay. So Maciek, you said hit the ceiling, reaching a plateau. Okay. So plateau is okay. We're almost there. What I would argue is that this line up here is burnout. Because there's only so many hours per day. There's only so much stronger you can get. There's only so hard you can work. And then the thing is, like, this can take years. You won't get burned out by 1 week or 1 month, right? But if this is the only way you approach life, or the main way you approach life, there's just so much capacity you can build up and so many hours you can work in a day that you're going to hit this thing over here that's called burnout, right? And that's what I think is the sneaky thing with physical resiliency and a strong emphasis on your body. So that's what I see. People who have this as their main goal, they're really physically strong. They do more and they get more output, so they do even more, and then they have this spiral, right? That doesn't mean we shouldn't be physically strong. Obviously not. Because the thing that does happen, I can do this, do some more drawing. Oop. What does happen? Let's see if I can. Oh, sorry, I lost it. Where'd it go? I lost my control. Darn it. Can you still hear me, or was it just me? Okay, you got. Okay, perfect. Yeah, something just exploded here. I'm like, oh, did I screw everything up? So okay, so here's the thing that happens, right? The beautiful thing about this is that, let's say, Maciek, you and I, we're going to go for a run, right? We're going to do a 10K run for some reason. You are, strong, fit, and I'm bearded and chubby. Right? So we're going to run 10K. You're going to go out there. Let's say this is your effort going this way, and these are the kilometers we're running. So when you go out, we start out here, it's nice, you get warmed up, it's a little bit hard, and then you just continue on this nice, smooth little effort, right? You're talking to me, we're having fun, it's nice, it's a good day in the park for you. On the other hand, me, not being physically fit, I'm going to also get going here, get warmed up, but then it's like, this 10K is pretty freaking hard, right? It's really difficult. And then it's just going to continue until that, because I don't have the capacity. So you're going to talk to me all the time. You're going to be, maybe you're even thinking about, tomorrow, you're making some plans. Me, I'm freaking dying. Right? I'm about to pop. Because there's a threshold, which I like to say looks something like this. And when you pass that threshold, you're starting to use your mental strength battery. Right? So you're starting to drain that. So for Maciek here, he's staying below this threshold, which means he can just do this for hours and hours, and he can even solve problems, right? But I'm doing the same task, still running the same 10K at the same pace, and I'm overexerting myself, meaning that I'm draining my battery. I'm going to have to use will force to get to the goal, and we only have so much of that. Right? So that's a really important thing here. One part of being physically strong is increasing this threshold to make sure we can do more things, right? So this is when you go to the grocery stores, I don't know, and you pack a lot of bags, and then you're walking home, and for some of it, it's really easy. For some of it, it's really hard. For the one that it's easy, they open up the door to their family. They're happy. They're enjoying them because it wasn't an effort. For some of us, we have back pain or maybe something keeping us back. So that moving those boxes into the house or whatever it is, it kind of annoys us because we have this pain. It's actually hard. So when we open up the door, we can't greet our family in the best way possible, or greet our team in the best way possible, because we have already drained some of that mental battery. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So these are two very important concepts, right? If we keep doing physically upwards, we're going to hit burnout, unless we do a few things that we're going to talk about later. And if you are not physically fit or have a physically strong body, meaning you have pain, injuries, low VO2 max, and weak, then you will hit this threshold earlier, and life is just going to be harder, right? And you're going to drain your battery, and you're going to be annoyed with people who doesn't deserve to be annoyed. That's a big deal, especially as a team leader, a family, whatever it is that you do. That these two concepts are key, right? Very important ones. So this is how I conceptualized the lessons I got from the military after being kicked in the butt over and over and over again. That's just one. I'm like, okay, this is the takeaway, right? That makes sense. Are you still tracking with that one? Perfect. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you guys. And how are we doing on the other side of over here? Okay, good as well. Okay, perfect. I like that. Okay, that means when you have a strong physical body, right? You push harder, you work more hours, you brute force everything. That's your main effort, right? And the more you do, the stronger you get, so you do it even more. Like that's this loop we're talking about. But this is also the pillar of a life well lived. Like it is incredibly important to have a body, a functioning vehicle that can take us out on adventures. Right? That's such a key component, right? And we talked about mental battery. And if you don't have this, right? If you have an injury, if you have your physical resiliency is low, or you haven't developed your body sufficiently, life it's just harder. Injury, disease, and you'll die sooner. Like this is not me exaggerating. Like if you're not physically strong, you will die soon. That's just it. And this, I do believe, and I've seen it over and over and over again, and I think you can relate to this as well. Please let me know that it inevitably leads to burnout. Yeah, movement is life. Exactly. We're made for that. I mean, that's probably why we have a gazillion joints, right? So let's have a look at the struggle bus, right? So I asked ChatGPT what would be a visualization of the struggle bus. So it gave me this one. On the left, you see the struggle bus. Like, so I don't know why there's a freaking hamster on next to a wheel on a treadmill. I don't really know, but as you can see, the engine room, which is your body, just looks absolutely horrible. And when you're on the strength bus, it's kind of like, oh, it's nice, it's orderly. And I don't know why this guy is like melting another robot, but who am I to ask questions of the almighty ChatGPT? But either way, like engine room, stuff like that. I thought it was I like this one. It's fun. And this is why physical resiliency is so important, and it's the first arena we want to develop in Unbreakable Mind. It's the setup. It's the most important thing. So that's what I realized. You got to figure out your body, and you have a few different reasons why you need to do that. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to walk you through a first little test to see how strong you are in this arena. And it's going to work something like this. I'm going to present to you a statement. You're going to write your score in the chat. I might check. My grandma was 102. She was still on bike when she was 95. So yeah, it's a crazy one, right? Yeah, it's a crazy one. 102 years. Wow, still on a bike when she was 95. Yeah, I think the day we stop moving, it's downhill from that. Okay, so you're going to score yourself, what you can see up to the right, which is if the statement is not like you, 0 points. Somewhat like you, 1 point. And heck yeah, much like me, you're going to score yourself with 3 points. Pretty simple. And then at the end, we're going to summarize, we're going to draw some conclusions and see what we got. Okay, here we go. See. Question number 1. I recover well enough to train hard multiple times per week without injury. Right. So we're talking nice, very much like me, 3, somewhat like me, 1 it's supposed to be, and not like me, 0. Okay, 3, nice, there we go. Tommy, what you got? Magic. Cool, next statement. In the last 3 months, I've done some type of hard activity that took over 6 hours. So these questions are based on people in the community, and and from a more like a qualitative test, but they're also from Angela Duckworth's grit test, right? So they are a combination of things that are actually valuable for people who are doing things. Okay, we have three. Nice. Last one on this one. Physically, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah, physical challenge. Yeah, exactly. 3, my body feels durable and dependable in everyday life as well as during competition or challenges. And next up here is to put it all together and let me know of your score. So this will be your total score of the 3 questions. And I got, and I'll write it down so we can keep track of it. So we have Marek, Farouk, and Tommy. Maciek, we have 9. Farouk 7 and Tommy 9. 979. Sweet. Ugly duckly. So the second thing that I discovered, and now it's getting interesting. Like, here's where it gets good, is that the most difficult situations in my life required more than just brute force and physical strength. It's those situations where I felt like this difficult situation where there was like no good options. Either I help someone and things turn into shit, or I don't help someone and it also turns into shit. It's those situations in life where you don't know what's going to happen. It's that unknown. And the unknown is one of the worst things we have when we can't predict the future, right? In this example here, it's one of those capture and survival exercises where they just put a hood on your head and all you know, it's going to suck for a while, right? But life is the same. Life is kind of like walking around with a hood on your head. We think we know the future, but we don't know. So our job is to kind of figure that out, how to deal with it. And it's also when you know there's a tough conversation to be had. Either it's one of your colleagues or one of your teammates who you have something really tough to say and it's going to really hurt them, or maybe it's receiving one of those when you have to listen to someone who has tough things to say to you. None of these can be solved by just like brute forcing it and going strong, right? And earlier today, I talked to you guys that I almost got kicked out of bomb disposal school. And for me, this is kind of emotional because I spent so many years and so much time in this thing, right? And the reason why I got kicked out was because I had this satisfaction of letting people know when they were wrong, right? Especially people who claim to be experts. And I just couldn't resist this, I want to call it urge, right? To be right or to give back. Now, it's not something I'm proud of. Definitely not. It's rather the opposite. I'm still embarrassed of it. But it's an important part to understand because even if I was right, my communication was reactive and not active, right? And that's the second thing that I realized, the second concept or some second, like, that's how the freaking thing works that I realized. And that's what I want to show you now. So if you would allow me to draw yet another time, maybe a little bit more of a painting class than they say base mental strength class. Rule number 1, don't show yourself better at the boss. Yeah, yeah. I wish I have read that book before I did this training, right? So, and there's really a lot to that, right? So I'll give you a more maybe relatable example first, and then we'll head back into what the heck happened. So a few weeks ago, I was in Malaga. I was loading up a Uber car with my mom's trolley, one of those things you can fold up, throw it up in the back. I folded up, another car just passes by on the outside, and it was a little bit tight. So the other driver just put his hand out the window and just started screaming, right? And I'm like, oh, sure, whatever. My driver, on the other hand, you could see him. You could see his eyes, like they just open up. You can see his fist clench, and you can see he was getting ready into getting like a verbal fight. And the seconds passed, 5, 6, 7, and then he just went for it. He just started screaming. He just, like, all the Spanish bad words he could ever imagine, he just threw them at that van. And then like 1 minute later or something like that, he looks back and he looks at us. And then his posture goes from this big, tall guy to something like this. And he looked at us and he was almost, embarrassed, ashamed of how he had performed. And he realized, hey, this is not the person I wanted to be. And then he apologized and said, "Oh, let's get going. Let's get." So the thing that happened to this guy that I realized, right, is that, and here's how we see it. This X here represents the time that car passed us, the trigger point, right? Then time started ticking, and he was getting pissed off. Right? Oh, Amelia, welcome. Nice to have you back here again. Time started ticking. He got pissed off. He was run by his emotions, and that's what we call the reactive phase. Right now, he's being driven by his emotions. Things are just happening. He's getting pissed off. He's screaming. He's like, that guy can go F himself, right? And then he switches. That's what we call the switching point. That's when you realize, oh, I'm not living the way I'm supposed to right now. Then he moves into the active phase, right? Hey, Amelia, right? And here's why this is so incredibly important. When we live here, we're driven by our emotions. Right? When we live here, we're driven by our desire to be the person who is our best version. Right? So emotions, and over here are called cognitive function. Right? There's a very fancy ways of explaining how this works, but in general, you've probably heard about the prefrontal cortex, like the CEO of the brain, that's being active. And here, it's the fight, or flight, or freeze response, the amygdala. Right? So this reaction here. Does this make sense? Is this something you have heard about before? Tommy, Amelia, Maciek, Faruk? Because this is an incredible thing, right? So why? Yeah, exactly. And the main thing we do in Unbreakable Mind, I would say, is that we develop and we practice. See if I can move this thing. Maybe not. I can't. Thought I could move this. Okay, whatever. What we practice is we want to move this little X here as close to the trigger point as possible, right? So we want this gap to be as tight as possible. Why do we want to have this switching point as close to the possible as the trigger point? Why is that so important? Why does this gap here need to be tight? What do you guys think? Why is it so important to move the switching point as close to the triggering event as possible? Exactly, right? So here's the thing. We will have our emotions. We should have our emotions. We should have our reactions because they're really healthy. But if we live in our emotions, if we stay in the emotions, then the emotions run us. We don't run it, right? Reactions is awesome. That's what keeps us alive. But if we stay in it, we make stupid decisions. So the sooner we can switch from this reactive mode into active mode, the sooner we can choose a behavior that is long-term useful for us, right? So we realize that this emotions I have right now, anxiety and doubt, and I don't know what to do, it's not helping us. And we got to have the tools and the skills to switch, right? So a big part of Unbreakable Mind, and a big part of what we're going to talk about today, is how the heck do we move this switching point as close to the triggering event as possible? Yeah, higher emotional intelligence, exactly. I know where, Tommy, take your time. So this is incredibly important, right? And this is how I want you, like, when you realize your emotions getting excited, you need to activate your I don't know what skills you have right now, but you need to activate the positive reframing, the breath work, the what's it called? I'm losing words now. It's getting along. This is a long day. But those are tools that will move this X as close to the trigger point as possible. And that is the big thing. So why is this important in the story I told about the military bomb disposal school? Let's see if I can switch again. What do you think that is? What's the connection? See what we got. Yeah, focus. Here we go. See what well. Well, the thing is, right? There's nothing wrong to tell your instructor that they're wrong. But exactly. But if you're going to work as a bomb disposal officer, it's not super good to have the emotions to drive me, right? That's what they were looking for. It's like, it's a really bad thing. Like, this thing is pissing me off, and therefore I'm going to make like very bad. So they saw that as a sign, as this guy is unable to control his emotions. Right? Yeah, exactly. It can blow. It can be really shitty. Right? So they did the right call, you know. And what I did was I had to develop those skills, and that was the best way for me to understand it. I was lacking that self-control or emotion control. In some areas of life, what happens is that you piss someone off because you speak Spanish words when they pass you. In other lines of work, you cease to exist. So I had to learn this skill, right? And they actually did me a favor by saying that. So when you have an undeveloped mind, right, you become reactive. You make poor decisions, like we said before, and you will end up in this situation where you regret saying things. And if you're an athlete, how many here consider themselves an athlete? Maybe you're running a marathon, or you have some sports you're working on, and you do races. So much like you're doing races. Then you know that during a long race, you need to not give up every single second, right? Because if you give up for 1 second, if you give up for 1 second, you say, I'm out, it's over. And then you know that 20 minutes later, when you're sitting, and resting, you realize, why did I do that? Right? So that emotional control is incredibly important, especially during races or tough situations, because it only requires you to give up for 1 second and you're out. And you made that shitty decision that you might be ashamed of for the rest of your life. Right? And this leads to bitterness, right? It leads to depression. It leads to tough life. That's just how things go if you don't develop these skills. Because who wants to be friends with a person like that who's driven by their emotions, who say things that they don't really mean, and then they once again apologize another time, or they make another bad decision another time? Just people get sick of it. And on the other hand, right, if you develop this, you can face rejections because people say no to you over and over again, but you're like, oh, I can deal with that. You have the emotional control to make decisions, and you can deal with it. And I believe this is such a big part of how we see the world. If we can change these thoughts, and we can see the world for what we want it to be like, we change our lives. That's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing. And especially in the military, but definitely in the civilian world, it will be the difference between you surviving and thriving in the same situation, right? And how we like to see it, when I asked ChatGPT, like, can you visualize this for me? We said like the mind would be your driver's area, right? It's like on the left, you have your struggle bus. There's a lot of things in the road. It's chaotic. Your instrument panels are just glowing and sparking, and it's just a lot of fear and unproductivity and chaos, right? That's the brain on the struggle bus. That's that emotions taking over. And you're probably just like flooring it and going after it. On the strength bus, when you figure this out, you have a clear direction. The obstacle has been removed, and you can see your gauges. You can feel your emotions. You can understand where you're at, so you can throttle up, throttle down, and adapt to the situation. Right? It's that calm versus chaos. That's the difference we're trying to work on here. And that's why I'm obviously like, oh, the body and mind. Like, wow, great surprise. I've never seen that on a gym wall before. Like, I'm a genius, right? So I'm like, oh, well, sure, whatever. I do believe that I found some pretty interesting concepts, and I okay, I get that. That makes sense. But before we go through the third arena and the things that really shifted, and the reason why I actually have this thing going on, because why would I just teach about mind and body? Like, it's on every gym wall, right? There must be something else. But before we talk about that, we're going to give a quick little test to your mental resiliency, or how well developed you are from the mind perspective, right? So the first statement is, when something stressful happens, could be an argument, a deadline, you're wanting to quit, like during a race or whatever, you can calm your thoughts within seconds or minutes. The time here are important. So it needs to be something that stresses you. And can you calm yourself down within seconds or minutes? See, if you, it's not like you, 0. A little bit like you, 1 point, or 3. 3 most of the time. Farouk, 0. And Amelia, and Tommy, 0. Got it? And also, like, whatever your score is, I don't give a crap. But the important thing is that you're honest with yourself. Right? That's the most important thing. Because if you're not honest, this doesn't matter at all. Like, then you could just not do it. Go drink a beer, or I don't know, whatever. So just be honest with yourself. That's where the benefits comes, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, second, if I tell myself I will wake up early or no phone during training or until training, I actually follow through. Right? I will actually do it. Right? That's what we talked about before. I say I'm going to do something, and I'm actually going to do it. I check 1, Farouk 1, and people ask me during this call, what is mental strength? All right, great question. And there's a bunch of scientific explanations. You can talk about the AMCC, parts of the brain. You can make it complicated. Here's how we see it. Mental strength is the ability to do the things that you said you're going to do. Period. If you said you're going to do something and you're doing it, you're probably pretty strong. In the long run, we're not talking about you can do it for a week. We're talking about you can set 4-year goals and work towards it, and it will happen. That's what we're talking about. All right, thank you. Okay, 3, I rarely avoid a tough conversation, a workout, or things that scare me. Look at the word scare and avoid. Those are 2 things, right? If it scares you and you avoid it, then this is very much like you. 1, okay, and then you're going to summarize it for me so I can help you here keep track of it. Check 5. And let's see, welcome to. Does anybody know about Angela Duckworth's grit test, the scientist? Have anybody taken that? Yeah, it's an interesting one. And read it, yeah. It's an interesting one, right? And parts of this comes from that, but we expanded a bit more because the other one is a little bit theoretical. Okay, why would you? And I think that's what you realize here, that all the things we're doing is based on some book or some science that we have turned into action, right? That's a big deal what we do. We just want to make sure that we do things rather than just read it and listen about it. We want you to do so. Till 9, which is most of it. Okay, what was the full score? You got a Tommy 1. There you go. Okay. Here we go. Next. Yeah, Amelia, so I want you to score yourself from, if things are not like you give a 0, somewhat like you, 1 point, and very much like you, 3 points. But we're going to move on now, and we can do a recap later, but if you want to. Okay, and I think, speaking of, now we have our mind and the body. We have the gym wall. Like Maciek, you maybe you have this on your local gym. It's like, mind and body. You see that everywhere. Some places they add spirit, which is, I would say, somewhere along the line useful, but it's not complete. I think this is why a lot of people stop here. And you can do really long stuff, right? This is me running 100 miles in the middle of darkness in super cold Sweden. You can do that if you just have developed these things. And I think that's why people stop, right? They're just like, oh, you know what? I've done the Goggins stuff. I've run far. I can endure cold plunges. I'm gangsta. Or maybe not. That's not maybe what they're saying, but I think you get the point. So by now, right, I have this I've gained some pretty cool insights, right? I've studied the science. I've understood it. I've applied it. I've learned from people who have done this many, many more years more than me. But there was still something missing, right? What the heck was it about those days when I actually wanted to give up, right? When my body was broken, right? My mental resiliency was low. My physical resiliency was low. But for some reason, I still managed to move on. Right? So this magical mental strength formula, I realized was broken. Mind and body wasn't enough, right? Then I'm not religious, and I also don't have that spiritual component, right? But for some reason, I still managed to stick around. And it took me a while to figure this out, right? But this is really the thing that kind of clicked, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, literally that little light bulb moment. You're like, oh, I get it. This is This is the difference. Like, oh, this is different. And you're going to like this one, Maciek. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. Because I went through one of the experiences where I'm like, almost thought I was dying. I was going up in this airplane to do my first skydive of the year, right? And it's a regular nice day, to go for skydive. I jump out, I look at my watch, and you see that little red zone there? Can you see that one? It's a red zone on the watch. That means you're really close to ground and your parachute should be open. Right? That's just a general rule. If you don't open your parachute before that one hits red, then it could be a really bad day. So that's what I do. I open up my parachute and I look up to check everything's working. And usually when you open up your parachute, it looks like this. It's a beautiful big wing. Right? Mine looks like this. So I look up, I see the situation, I'm like, okay, cool. I know what to do. Pull apart, kick, enable the solver. Yeah, exactly, Farooq. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Oh, I'd love to hear more about that and what the heck happened, right? Yeah, because the mental part is really important. Right? And I'm thinking, I think when we go through this, you're going to realize there was something more that you probably had in those situations. And you're going to understand now, oh, that's how it worked, right? But I look up and I see this, pull apart and I kick, and I'm like, oh, cool. That didn't work. Now we're down on red, halfway. I'm starting to see faces, the contours of faces. I can see license plates on car. Things are getting really big. So I know what to do. I cut away this one, cut away my main chute, and I open up my spare. Right? I cut away and I free fall again, because you drop, because this breaks a little bit, and you drop. So like it's really scary, and then the next one pops up. And then I see this again. And now I'm like, okay, what do? I look at my watch. It's down halfway on red. It means there's a few hundred meters before I hit the ground. Pull apart, kick out, watch the clock, but there's nothing else to do. Just pull apart, kick out, and it opens up at the perfect wing, and I land the smoothest landing I've probably ever done, and I'm fine. And then you feel that adrenaline dump. You've probably been through this, right? You're like, holy crap, what just happened? And then I see my coach running. She's like, she's running, and she's carrying something. Oh, that's weird. And she comes up to me, and I don't really hear this so well because I'm getting that adrenaline dump around. And she's like, take that off, put this on. And she gives me a new backpack, not a backpack, but a parachute. She gives me a new one. Put that on, and she's like, your flight, you're going back up there. It leaves in 5 minutes. So I do that. I get back up. I jump out again. Window. Look at my watch. Open up my parachute, and I land perfectly. And then I walk over to her. I'm like, walk me through this. What the heck? So what she told me was, well, I saw what you did. I was standing there with my binoculars. I looked at the movements you were doing. This had nothing to do with you. This is just one of those 1 in 400 events which occur sometimes. You did everything perfectly. It was just bad odds today. So I knew that if you did not go up there again, you would be scared of heights and jumping for the rest of your life. And I know that your goals in life requires of you to be able to do these things. That's why I sent you back up again. Right? And that's when I realized, oh. But I'll put it this way, right? What do you think I would have, if I didn't have it there, what do you guys think I would have done? What would have been my decision at that time? What do you think would have happened? I'm curious. What do you think? I know, and I'll give you the thoughts that were coming through my mind at that moment. Yeah, you would start analyzing. You start thinking about what happened. Maybe give up. I'll tell you what I was feeling, right? Here's the words of what I was feeling. If I got to make the decision in that moment, I was so mentally down that I would have bought myself an ice cream, went into the closest shower, put myself in, child's pose, and just cried in the shower, right? That's literally what would have happened if I were to take control over myself, because I was in the state where I'm like, holy crap, I could have died, and I don't want to die, or if worse, it would have just been horribly painful. maybe paralyzed. Like what you're saying, Maciek, like overthinking, right? And that's what I was talking about before. What the heck happens, or what do you need when you're down and out? Like when you don't make decisions anymore, or you make really shitty decisions, right? But thanks to her, I was able to, just a few weeks ago, be okay with heights, right? I went to Parapente in Chamonix, France, to do these beautiful things up in the mountains, which I love, and also do a full military career with not having that as a limitation. So the third thing that I realized that is vital, right? And you'll see this in the literature, but never combined, right? The third arena is, of course, team. Literally, the team is the thing that will put you through, right? Maciek, sweet, I have another appointment. No worries, Maciek. Hope I get to see you soon. Hope you enjoyed it so far. Don't worry about it. And let's talk later and see if you want to follow up with this fun stuff. So if you have an underdeveloped team, right, you are alone when things get rough. Right? Me in that situation, landing there, making my own decisions, would have turned my life very differently. And it becomes almost impossible to win because you will learn so much slower. Right? You have no one who gives you honest feedback, or you have no one who supports you when it's needed. And this inevitably leads to disillusionment and loneliness, right? Because you don't get the feedback you need. You don't get that honest feedback. Right? Does this make sense to you, Tommy and Farouk? Are you with me so far on these things? Ooh, I like that you said that. Maruko, Malone, you go fast. With a team, you go further. So if you have a team, and I mean team, it could be your family, your work, your friends, but there's a difference between team and a group of people in the same spot. Incredibly important difference. A team will hold you accountable, support you when needed, right? A team will understand what you need when you're lost and down, not what they need or what they want. If my mom was there, she would be like, heck no, you're not going up there again. Because she's thinking about her own emotions. She's thinking about you wants to keep her child safe, right? She's thinking about her, not me, right? I love her. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a different way. And they push you in the direction you want to go. Incredibly important. Right? So, Farouk, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you bring a team. There's no I in team, exactly. So here's what I realized, right? And I've tested this quite a lot now. Like the 3 arenas of mental strength, the 3 things that will move you through no matter what the heck happens is that you have a strong body, you have a strong mind, and you have a strong team. And I cannot stress this enough. You need to have a strong team, right? And these things just doesn't happen by themselves. Like you don't become stronger unless you work out. So what happens with your mind, right? You don't become stronger unless you work out your mind, right? And how your teams won't get stronger by you just hanging around with people. You have to develop that. You have to work out your teams, right? You have to figure these out. Incredibly important. That's the essence, and that's the core of being unbreakable. I'm always able to move forward. Right? So now I want to test you guys. Are you ready for a little test? I'm going to do the dance test here. This is the little thing I got for you. So number 1, I have people around me who give me honest and useful feedback. Would you say that's not like you? 0. Somewhat like you, 1 point, or very much like you, 3 points. Nice. And 2, I have people around me that understands my goals and pushes me to do what I want, not what they want me to do. Here's a key component. It's what I want, not what they want. Thank you, Farouk, for being so fast and nice. Tommy, are you with me? Oh, great. Thank you. 3, when I succeed, I have people who genuinely celebrate with me. This is a good one. This is very important. I have people who have genuinely celebrated with me. These are important. Like when you come to someone, you tell them, hey, I had this win, or, I'm going to do this big thing. Do they go with you and like, oh, yeah, let's freaking do that. And great job. Or are they like, maybe angling it as such, a little bit suspicious, like, why did you do that? Are you really going to do that? And now please add that up for me, and I'll put it on our record board here so we can summarize later. 2, and tell me what do you have 1. Okay. Oh, some double taps. Let's get that out of the way. So now let's have a look at the conclusions here, right? If you scored 0 to 4 points, this is obviously the arena where you most likely to be weakest, right? And in this sense, let's see here. And I want to say it like this. This is your weak arena. And for Farouk, it's the mind and the team. And for Tommy, it's the mind and the team. And here's the cool part. Like, just as when you go to the gym the first weeks, you gain massively gains, right? Same thing here. Once you start deliberately practicing your mental strength and building strong teams, you will have massive gains. The first is always the most exciting because you learn so much and you become so much stronger, by starting out, right? So even though it's your weak arena, this is really the big opportunity to do big wins and big gains fast. I want to make that perfectly clear. That's why it's so exciting, because when I see something, I'm like, oh, wow, I suck at this. That also usually means that if I put a little bit of effort, I will get a lot of it back. If you are 5 to 7 points, which would be Farouk, that would be your body. And yes, that would be that one. With your body. This is probably the things where you are pretty solid on everyday situations where things work pretty good. But it might be the case when you're getting pushed or cornered, or when things are a little bit more rough. This could be something that might break down. It could be something that's just like that's a little bit weak or insecure. And if you get an 8 to 9 here, I would say this is your strong suit. So for Tommy, that's your body. Okay. So when you're scoring high here, that's usually not where you should put your effort, because if you put a lot of effort into where you're already strong, you have small gains usually. But the opposite is also true. If you put a little bit of effort into where you're weak and you make that sufficiently strong, then you get some good return on your investment very fast. Okay, how does that feel so far? How are you with this thing? Does this make sense, or just doesn't relate to you at all, or where are we at? I like that we're such a small team today. Just like Farouk, Amelia, and Tommy. It's great. It's way more interactive, and I get to know you a little bit. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that this is a really good test book, and it's been tested with a lot of people, and it just seems to be it's a good indicator of what our lives look like, right? And what we do. So what the heck happens when you develop the 3 arenas? So the thing is, the first thing, you will have a body that can take you on the adventure that is life, right? And you can go and do things without breaking down. You can work hard, you can work longer than anyone else, and you will not break down. That's super important. And then you will be able to act instead of react, right? And it could, okay, this is so cool. Here's the thing. If you have a clear vision of who you want to become, and you are in this action phase, or this active phase where you get to choose your own behavior, if you just mimic the behavior of your ideal version and you do that over and over and over again, then what happens? Well, you become that person. And that is why it's so important to move from the reactive into the active as soon as possible, so you can get those reps and become that person, right? But it requires that you have a clear vision of who you want to become, right? Because otherwise, it's that saying of, if you don't know where you're going, no wind is favorable, right? If you don't know what island you want to go to, no wind is favorable, right? So you need to have a version of you want to become. And then you will have a people around you who criticize you in a useful and honest way, and support you at the right time in a useful way. Very important things. Right? And my question, of course, to you now is, when you have an understanding of the mind, the body, and team, how valuable would this be in your life? Like, if you develop these to strong 9s, like, how valuable would that be for you? I just want to know if it's like a 1, 5, or a 10, or Farouk, it's a 10. Yeah. And I don't know, Amelia, if you're with us still, maybe 10. Yeah. And I think you got to remember this now. Like, you have now gone through this training. You've understood what the 3 arenas are. You've told yourself, you've seen the limitations you have, and now you scored yourself as this is it's a 10. It's so incredibly important to you. And then my next question obviously becomes, okay, what the heck becomes possible in your life if you develop these skills, right? In Unbreakable Mind, we talk about unlocking that performance. This is the key to continuous performance year after year after year after year. Because if you become consistent towards your goals, it is inevitable that you get there. That's just logics. And once you are consistent, we can talk about speed. But if you're not consistent towards your goals, there's no idea talking about speed or optimization or nothing. We just need to get you going consistently towards where you want to go. That 1% every single day. Right? So what dreams will unlock? Right? That's what we're talking about there. That's literally the key to your dreams. Right? What will become possible if you nail this? If you develop your mind, strong body, and a strong team. So tell me about your goals here. What goals will be unlocked, or how will your life look differently? So Faroukham, if you now develop that consistency, what will happen? This is the greatest gift you can give me on this call, because this is the question I love the most. Because here I get to know a little bit about your dreams, where you want to go. So please, put something in the little chatty box there. I would love to hear from you and Tommy, Amelia, Faroukham as well. And for you guys whose names I cannot see, you're more than welcome to put that in the other chat. But I will focus on the people in here. Yeah, so you'll get a beach body and get out of the rut I've been in for years, Faroukham says. And that rut, like the physical representation of being consistent, is that body. But there's also a lot of other things that's going to happen when you get that body, right? You're going to get the health benefits. You're also going to get people looking at you differently. And you're going to prove to yourself that, holy crap, when I set my mind to something, I will do it, and I can do it. And then the question becomes, if I can do this, what else becomes possible? And that's what I think is incredibly important. That's when it becomes exciting, because then the world just opens up. And then you have a different problem. Then you're like, oh, how big of a thing am I going to do? Right? Because you can do anything after that. I would argue it becomes almost impossible to lose, right? Because if you have your mind developed, you have your body developed, you can go really far. But when those breaks down, you have your team to support you, and no matter what happens, you will be able to move forward. Right? It becomes almost impossible to lose, right? But here's the little tricky thing. This might be why you haven't developed this mental strength yet. And here's what I believe: there's illusions on the internet. Oh, Tommy, it's 2:30 a.m. Thank you, mate, for showing up in the middle of the night. I appreciate that. But here's the problem, right? This might be why you're feeling stuck and unable to move towards your goals. Because this doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen by just simply leaving the comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens by challenge. Right? You can't just leave the comfort zone. Right? It's not about doing uncomfortable things. Right? Eating candy, too much candy, that's uncomfortable. Standing in the rain, it's uncomfortable. It's about leaving what we call the familiar zone. Right? So you have your familiar zone. Inside the familiar zone, you have things that are hard and difficult and complex, but they're familiar. They don't scare you. What you need is identifying what scares you, and then facing those fears in a structured, safe, and realistic way. Right? With structure, so you can learn from your experiences and avoid burning out, obviously. We don't want that. And I want you to be in a safe environment that allows you to explore your limits without taking big risks. Right? And it needs to be realistic, so it actually supports your goals. I see a lot of people do training that are really hard and tough and uncomfortable, but they're not related to the goals that they want to do. Right? And I'll give you some example. Here's the yoga studio, right? You're listening to whale song. That's why there's a freaking whale in the background, which I think is so funny. And you're sitting there, you're meditating, right? You're learning to stay calm, and you're learning to relax and breathe. And nice. Yeah, I love that. Amelia, we're all on a journey to improve stuff. Like, it's not a matter of we're done. It's a matter of what's the next step. Or you go to the gym and you develop your toughness. You can work hard. You can push hard. You one more rep, at the CrossFit box. But the problem is this: like, anyone can do one more rep at a CrossFit box, or anyone can find calmness in this lavender-scented yoga studio. But life's toughest moment, they don't play out in a scented room with cheering crowds, right? There's no, exactly. And they happen at 2 a.m. or at kilometer 90 when everything hurts and that thought of giving up starts making sense. When that goal you've been pursuing is like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't pursue this. Maybe I'm destined for something else. When all of that happens, you're like, maybe I should give up. And when the pressure of real world situations with family, with illness, disease, and everything, it doesn't really leave a room for meditation. Right? This 5-minute relax, calm you down. Right? Real life doesn't work that way, right? But what if there was a system, right? What if there was a training that would prepare you for life, that would simulate the emotions of life, that would develop the exact characteristics that you need in life, right? And would you want that? Would that be something in your life that you would want? Yeah, this is my question to you. What if you could have that system? Yeah, it's needed, right? It's one of those things where we eat, we sleep, and we need to move. We need to develop our teams. We need to develop our body. We need to develop our mind. Right? And it doesn't happen automatically. How about you, Amelia? And that's why I created an Unbreakable Mind Path. That's why we start out with a mental strength challenge. That's why we uncover our strengths and weaknesses. And that's why we then start focusing on the physical resiliency, building a strong body. And that's why we then talk about the mental resiliency, emotional control, being able to stand through the test of times, consistency. And then move through the team. Because we know without the team, we cannot do anything. We need to develop the teams. Teams doesn't just happen, right? We need to develop relationships with our family, with our work, with our teammates. And then we put it all together and we test you. We make sure that you have a realistic challenge that tests your abilities to perform. And then you can measure yourself against that and practice what you need to practice, right? But you don't build confidence by telling yourself that you are great, you are good. No, you build confidence by stacking proof. And the way you stack proof is that you put up a big challenge ahead of you and you go beat the crap out of it. So that's something we will help you do in Unbreakable Mind and inside what we call arete, right? So that's why I created this thing. And I did it for myself. I created this thing because when I left the military, like my discipline, my ability to go after big things, I lost it, so I created this for myself, and then I invited some people. And now I open it up for everyone, or I shouldn't say everyone because we'll talk about that later, but it's not open for everyone. But it will give you the structured, safe, and realistic training needed to become unbreakable, to become consistent, to build that beach body, to make sure that you move every single day towards your goals, so that you can finish what you started, so that those ideas and dreams just don't stay an idea, don't stay in a dream, but you actually get there. That's the most important thing. So if you were to train mental strength this way, the way we talked about, would this make your life better? And I'm talking your life in general. Would your life change for the better if this is how you approach it? By doing work, yeah. Yeah, I'm getting some thumbs up. Yeah, this is important. What's your take here, Farouk? Would your life change for the better if this is how you train mental strength? You train your team, you train your mind, you train your body. Yeah. Right? So you have two options now, right? You can stay on the struggle bus and you can keep doing what you're doing. And Einstein would say that if you keep doing what you're doing and you expect the same results, you have gone a little bit crazy. Or you can join the strength bus, right? And you can step into that system that will automatically train your mind, your body, and team in a structured way, so you can focus on just doing the training and not everything around, right? And to have those teammates, to have that team that you don't really have right now to support you when motivation dips, right? And it doesn't matter what your goals are. I know we have very different things, right? If you're an elite athlete or you have physical goals, that beach body, if you're trying to learn a new language or a really complex topic in a very short time, or if you have big, tough decisions. Doesn't matter. We know this works now. And if you do want to achieve your big goals, I think we all can agree that you need to develop all the 3 arenas. So that's why I created this thing, which I'm very proud of. The 6-week to Unbreakable Mind Bootcamp, right? And this is how I put everything together. This is this live online bootcamp with daily challenges, weekly coaching for 6 weeks that trains you to stay calm, stay disciplined, and stay focused under pressure. And we do this because we treat mental toughness or mental strength, and we treat this as a muscle you need to work out. Your teams will not get strong, your mind will not get strong, and your body will not get strong unless you train it. It is as simple as that. And here's the cool part. This bootcamp used to be, it's still $13.97, right? And then I had a discount for $900. And now I'm like, you know what? I want to make this available to as many as possible. So it's $599. But here's the best part, and this is what I love. Honestly, you're gonna love this. You get to win your money back. So what I learned is that people would pay me for a training, and then they wouldn't show up. I'm like, dude, you just told yourself that this is one of the most important things in your life, and you don't show up for the training. So how do I make people show up for the training? Well, I offer them to win your money back. So you have a little bit of pain in the game, right? You have skin in the game. So now you can win that back, right? You win it back simply by finishing 90% of the challenges, and you share your progress, right? Ways to help stay focused. Yeah, exactly. One of the main part of this is to be able to stay focused, be consistent, as Farouk was saying. We need to be consistent. Like, the thing here, I'll just go on a little bit of a rant because it's so important. Like, if you can't be consistent, you won't have anything. Like, that's it. Like, you will be one of those who just aims at a goal, do it for 2 weeks, and then aim at another one, and then you constantly get into this loop of excitement and then disappointment, excitement and disappointment. Right? Without consistency, we get nowhere. I'm gonna be tough. Yeah, exactly. Consistency and discipline, they're like this. Right? And the big difference between us and a lot of other things, like, we don't give a crap about motivation. Like, you will not hear a motivational speech. It's not the thing, right? Motivation gets you excited about something, but as soon as it starts raining, the motivation's gone. Like, it's worthless, right? It's the same with happiness. Happiness is a result of doing amazing things. We don't aim for happiness. Happiness comes to us, and it comes to us after we have done meaningful stuff. And meaningful things are big goals that are valuable to you. When you do those, you will find happiness at the end of it. But if you can't be disciplined and you can't be consistent, you will never have happiness, right? But we don't aim for happiness, because happiness also disappears. It moves around, right? You find happiness, and then it starts raining, and then you get cranky. So we don't aim for that, right? Okay, that was a rant. But I hope this is so important. It's incredibly important. We need to be consistent. We need to have discipline. Otherwise, we're screwed. That's just it. Sorry for the rant, guys. Here's the thing. If you book your application call with me within the next 50 minutes, you will get upgraded to Elite if you choose to join us, which includes one-on-one coaching with me. On the call with me, there's no commitment. There's no creepy salesperson. Unless you see me as a creepy salesperson. But the thing is, it is an application-only process, right? Only a few people get selected. It's because I want to give it high quality, and I want to make sure it's the right people. If you're people who don't take responsibility, you don't take extreme ownership, then this is not for you. But you can only know if I think you have what it takes if you join me on the call, right? No commitment, no nothing. If you're curious, because it isn't for everyone, right? But on this call, we'll talk about your goals, the requirements of the program, so you know exactly what the heck this is, what I expect of you, and what you can expect of me, and exactly what you need to do to win back your money. Right? And then people ask me, oh, so it's like impossible to win? Like, no, that's not the thing. Like, if I made it impossible to win, my trust is lost, and you will never work with me again. I want you to win. Because if you win, it means you've done the work, and you will have the transformation, and you will work with me forever. That's the game plan. And that's why you and I have skin in the game, to make sure that you get the transformation you need. Because when you win, I win. It's very simple. Right? Yes, Amelia. Yeah. When you lose your power, you lose out everything. It just spirals down. It's really bad. Right? So I'm not asking you to make a purchasing decision today. That would be crazy because you haven't even been inside, right? I'm asking you only to don't miss this opportunity. Right? You can only make a decision once you're inside the program. But there's no way to make a good one now. And the first way to get close to that is to have a little chitty chat. Unless the replay breaks down, you will get a replay, but I hope so. So now you get to choose: stay on the struggle bus or take a peek inside the strength bus, which I'm on and which all of us are on. So now you have the ability to book your call. And I know you're going to say now is not a good time, right? It's never a good time. You could just drop that one, right? When is it a good time to do things that are fearful, anxiety, and a little bit uncomfortable, right? There's never going to be a good time. That's why you might be where you're at, because you're not taking the, it's like you're not getting going. And you're going to say, I can't afford it. Well, the thing is, we have multiple ways to get through the program. So if we have a chat and the Unbreakable Mind bootcamp is not for you, we'll figure out something for you to do. We even have free alternatives in some ways, right? So don't think about if you can't afford it and now it's not a good time, it will never be a good time. This is your first step on building consistency, discipline, and just getting shit done, right? This is where it starts. So 6 weeks of mental strength training, that's the bootcamp. You have a dedicated accountability buddy, someone to walk you through it. You will have access to weekly live small group coaching, which I'm adding just for you guys because you're here now. I will also add the Unbreakable workout library, physical exercises, all that good stuff. You'll get upgraded to the VIP package with me. If you book your call now and you get what's it called? I can't even know the name. Right? Yeah, you get accepted. That's what I'm trying to say. If you do it any other day, you will still get the bootcamp. You'll get a dedicated accountability buddy, but you won't get a VIP with me, and you just get the regular package. Cool? And here's the thing. Look at this beautiful thing. I'm happy about that. If you join the program and you're like, this sucks, this is the worst, I don't like it, then you let me know why it sucks, and I will give you your money back. So even if you go inside and you just don't like it, I'll give you your money back. Like, I want your transformation and your results because that gives me a long time ability to work with you. I don't want your money. I might do another webinar as well or live training. It depends. It's been pretty rough lately, so we'll see what happens. But honestly, Amelia, if you want to learn more, if you feel like this is interesting to me, just go to the link, book a call with me. We'll have a chat, and there's no pressure. Like if you realize, yeah, I'll put the link in the chat, and then you just book a call with me, and we'll chat about it. And if there's but this is the opportunity to do this thing. And I really think that if you've gone this far with me and you've seen all of these things, you realize that your life would change if you develop these skills, and you realize that this thing is what's keeping you from your goals. Then honestly, you gotta ask yourself, is this worth booking a call to find out if it's the right path? Like, is that what my dreams are worth, or maybe not? Like, and the thing is, it's not. It's all up to you guys. Yeah, I see the questions over here. Yeah. But I've made it so as simple as I can. I made it so incredibly straightforward to get an understanding of what this is, and to make a good decision, and to remove all the risks. Like, you can literally join us for 2 weeks and say, you know what, this is not for me. You're out. That's it. It's very uncomplicated. So I want to know, am I going to be able to chat with you guys or not? Faroukim, what do you say? Are you going to chat with me for a bit? And Amelia? Take the beard. They're all gone. Yeah, so let's see. What do you mean with the dedicated accountability buddy? Yeah, so the dedicated accountability buddy means that a lot of you people, or me people, all of us struggle with accountability to ourselves. right? So that's why I will team you up with someone who's very similar to you, similar goals, and who I think will be a good match, and you will walk hand to hand through this challenge, right? It's such a powerful thing to have someone, a name, another person to dedicate yourself to that will help you go back and forth. This person will also help you develop the team aspect. You will give yourself feedback, and you will help each other to develop each other, right? So this is an opportunity to practice your best version, so you don't have to do that with your family and friends, right? Because that could always be a little bit awkward, like who you're trying to be. So you get a chance here to develop your teams and to practice your teams with your accountability, right? It's a big deal. Good question, though. Yeah, okay, another one. Discipline. It's not just about doing things. It's like this Unbreakable Mind is not just about telling people to just do it, go hard, quit. It's rather the opposite. We're trying to be smart about it. We're trying to understand how you work as a human being. We're trying to develop your strengths. We're trying to create challenges and create this program so that you not just do it. Because if it was so easy to just have someone scream at you to do it, then you would already be where you want to be. This is very different. We're trying to develop you for the long term, so you can self-sufficiently move towards your goals, and so that you don't need another coach again. I would say that's a big deal. How does that sound? Thumbs up. I appreciate that. Faroukum, you says okay. I like that. I'll take an okay. I mean, it's not the biggest expression of emotions, but I'll take it. And Amelia, are you with us still? Perfect. Yeah, I'm checking the comments down here. Any questions about the bootcamp or the Unbreakable Mind program, or the ability to have the chat with me and kind of understand or see if there's a fit, if there's something we can do? Because I said, it's not like, even if we have this call, and you think you want to do it, it's not necessarily that you might get accepted, because we're looking for specific people who we will have, who will benefit from this. Like, if I don't think you're going to benefit from this, I don't think this is what you need, and why would I put you on? It doesn't make any sense. So it's rather like an interview where I get to know you a bit. Yeah, don't worry, Amelia. You get to go through it as much as you want. It's all up to you. And Farouk, are you going to book a call with me, Farouk? You've been here now. You know what it's about. And perfect. I love that. And yeah, don't worry, Amelia. You have plenty of time. And for you guys as well, I think there's no rush in booking the call. The only reason why I want you to book it now, why I put this timer, is because I know a lot of you guys came here because you're struggling with procrastination. You're struggling with making a decision. So that's why I remove all the obstacles. I removed all the risks, and I put a timer on some pretty ridiculous coaching, which I don't think I will be able to do in the future, to be honest, because now I think I have six one-on-one clients, which I feel is too much, to be honest, because the level of attention I give them. And yeah, so that's why I'm not gonna, this VIP one-on-one coaching, I'd probably run this for another boot camp or something like that, but then it's just too much. So I think this is one of the last opportunities to get this. And yeah, after that, it's just full. Like, I have so many hours a week that I want to dedicate it to one-on-one work. So it doesn't matter how much you pay. That's not true. If you show up and you pay me $1 million, then I'll probably take you in. I should be honest with that one. But I don't want to dedicate too much time for one-on-one, because it limits my output. Like, I'd rather have you in a group setting and then do the boot camps, because I could just, it's just more people and more fun, to be honest. Amelia asks, when can we have it, and until when? Are you talking about the recording? That the thing you want to know when? Yeah, so the recording, hopefully, if everything is okay here, We'll have it uploaded by, in an hour or maybe an hour or so, and then I run it until Friday. That's usually. Oh no, wait, we're doing a Monday now, so it'll be 1, 2, 3 Thursday. So we put it up until Thursday, and then we take it all down and we just go through the people who applied, and then we can give responses and make sure that everybody has the information stuff. So we take the next step. Yeah, exactly, 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Tuesday, and that is to give us enough time afterwards to process the applications and make sure we have the right people and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, Farukam, did you manage to book the call, or how are you doing? Can I support you in any way? Yeah, Emilia, 3 days. Emilia, would you prefer? I've thought about making it as a. No, actually, I can't do that. No, that's good. Sorry about that. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, no worries, of course. I'm just here. I like this. Honestly, once I started doing these live trainings, it's been so fun. Like, people are very happy about it. They're exciting, and I didn't know it would have this impact on people, because I started out just for myself, and then like Diana once again said, you should teach this, and I just like, nobody wants to learn this crap. Yeah, no, I get it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, but she told me you should teach this, and now that I'm teaching it, I realized it has a really big impact on people. It's been able to move people towards their goals. I just had a call right now, and she just crazy. She just like said no to the things that were not valuable in her life. She built a new physique routine. Every day she's doing a freaking workout. She dropped out all the things that wasn't necessary in her life. Just so fun. No worry, Amelia. You can always reach out to me and like just send me an email with the questions once you've gone through it. Don't worry. You can just send an email at gabriel@unbreakable.mind.co, and that's good. And with that, my friends, I am going to go for a run over here in the darkness because I haven't been able to do that yet. I appreciate it so much. And Farukam, I'm looking forward to chat with you. And Amelia, we're going to talk soon. And who else over here who's been booking, I'll talk to you too. So it's been really nice. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for sharing and being active. And I'm going to reach out to, let's see here, Maciek or Tommy. Let's see. I'll have to roll the dice and who's going to win the little coaching, because they have been active on camera. They have been back and forth, and I really appreciate that. So congratulations to one of those two. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you when I talk to you. And just remember now, you know how important this is to you guys. Make sure you develop the 3 arenas, and when you need support with that, you book that call and we'll freaking get it done. That's as simple as that. You learn if it's needed. Take care and enjoy.